One. So
Okay.
hello everyone again. We are here with Dr. Yehiel Harari. As everybody knows or don't know, Dr. Yehiel Harari is an author and a speaker all around the world. He has a record of already 11 books that he wrote. I'm sure it's going to be more coming from him, and a great YouTube channel. A great speaker that is going to share with us today some fundamental concept of freedom and coming out of Egypt. We are nearing the holiday of Passover, and we know that what's going on there. The Israelites, so to say, are coming out of Egypt, and in Egypt they receive the Torah, and then they become a nation, and then there is a whole thing about getting out of slavery and becoming free. And we know that the Torah doesn't really speak about the body; it speaks more about the soul, and it's really an opening, almost window in time, for us to really get out of all the barriers, all the obstacles that stand in our way. And we want Dr. Yehiel Harari to elaborate more about the whole concept of freedom and Passover, and how can we utilize it? How can we use this holiday, this Seder, and all of this to really come out free from this experience?
Wonderful. Thank you very much for the introduction.
You're welcome.
Freedom, it's a negative term. I need freedom from something. It's like I'm so busy. I'm full of stress, children. So I need a vacation. I need to go out. I need freedom from something. So the right term in Hebrew, it's liberty. Liberty, it's a positive term. It's not a freedom from something. I don't need to get out of something in order to discover my inner liberty. What is it? What is it? Liberty. What are we talking about? Liberty. What closes us? What are the barriers? What, think about the Israelites, the people of Israel. Before getting out of Egypt, they were slaves. And after that, they continued to be slaves. They got out of Egypt. They accepted the Torah, but then they were still slaves. They weren't free people most of the time. So what is this liberty, and what is Baal Sefer HaChinuch, the author of the education book, very important book, wrote that one of the most fundamental ideas in Judaism, it's Exodus, it's getting out of Egypt. What are we talking about? What is this liberty? So before you understand why you need liberty, you need to understand what are the barriers that you have in your life, what blocks you. And what blocks you is you yourself. Especially what blocks me, it's my self-feeling of ego. Ego, it's a Freudian term, but in Judaism, it's like, in the Jewish thought, it's like my existence. My existence, it's me. It's like I am feeling myself, and when I feel myself, it's a barrier. Why it's a barrier? It limits me, because I cannot be a part of something that is infinite, a part of something that is huger than I. Because can I do that? Stop thinking about yourself. Start thinking about what you need to do. So getting out of Egypt, Maimonides says you have every day, every time to think about every generation. You have to think about the idea of Exodus, of getting out of Egypt. The Alter Rebbe, the founder of the Chabad movement, wrote that every day you have to start your day. Every day you have to think about, can I get this liberty? Can I get out of Egypt? It's not enough. So what is getting out of Egypt is knowing, let's start with the example. And then from this example, we would be able to understand what we're talking about liberty. Think about a person that has, I won't use a psychological term. Think about a person that has problems with concentrating. It's like very hard for him to concentrate, and his thoughts are running all over the place, and he's trying to handle them, and he cannot pick himself up because he's too confused. And the thoughts are never the problem. The problem are the emotions that pushes the thought, that they are the engine to the thoughts. So the main problem are his emotions. So we have, because of those thoughts that run without barriers, he cannot control them. So he's being controlled by undesirable negative emotions. And now and when your thoughts are going all over, there is no way that you won't be sick, mental ill in a way. Why? Because you are being controlled emotionally. So think about a person like that. And all of, it's all of us knows this kind of feeling. We know what happens when my thoughts are running without me able to navigate them. But there are those people that have it, suffer in specific time in their life, suffer more. So think about a person like that, or a child like that for 2 hours he succeeded to concentrate, to learn something, to be in the right place, not to be in all places, not to have so many channels open. Think about a person like that. He felt freedom, not freedom. He felt liberty. Liberty from what? Liberty from all those ideas, all those thoughts that trying to catch him and trying to tell him, think about what they told about you and what they think about you and what happened to you yesterday and what the trauma that you have been through. Now is liberty is the feeling of being out of yourself, concentrating in something, and now you feel that nothing is closing you. Liberty, we think that I have to throw out of me things. The opposite is the right. When I am committed to something, when I allow myself to be committed, only then I feel the liberty. But committed, not external commitment. External commitment, it's like I have to do things. Internal commitment. That now I allow myself to be only here and to be concentrated in this moment. And when I feel this moment, it's like I'm enjoying a special unity with the moment, myself, my inner self, and the divine that is creating this special moment. So I have something like the Maimonides says, something like a 3D interaction. And this 3D interaction, it's where you feel your real self. Your real self is where you do not, where I am not myself. People are going in the world, and Viktor Frankl people understood Viktor Frankl in the wrong way. They are walking in the world and they ask themselves, what is my life meaning? Am I doing things right? Am I meaningful enough? And they kill themselves. Why? Because they always think about themselves. And being meaningful is being influencer is not about yourself. Whenever it's about yourself, you won't be an influencer because you want to receive, you want to get, because you are in the middle and you're doing things in order to accept that people will appreciate you, that people will like you. And this is the opposite of liberty. Liberty is the place where I do not need anything. And I can discover this place only when I contemplate. No, Aristo in English, you said Aristo. Aristo said like that concentrating, learning something, reading, it's a bit like a death, like dying. Why? Because in the minute that think about a good book that you read, you're reading the book and now you need nothing. If you need, some accommodate, something to eat, something to drink, so the book is not good enough. When the book is really good, say to yourself, I don't need anything else. Leave me alone. The only thing that I want is to read the book. So this is a kind of liberty. And that's what happened in, every day you should contemplate on this idea that I need nothing.
The concept of meditation, the whole idea of meditation, it's another word to focus. When you are able to focus your attention, your thoughts, your energy on something, it's a form of meditation. That's why focus is it's so important.
I think there is a subtle distinction between meditation and the Hebrew word of itbonenut, contemplation. What is this word?
There is a difference. There is a difference. Meditation is more like a focus. It's more the ability to focus. But hitbonenut, which means contemplation, it's like you to stand on the side and look at yourself and
that's the idea. Like you caught the idea. The idea is that you have your thoughts. You can you can step aside and look at your thoughts and say to yourself, okay, I'm not your thoughts, and let them run. And it's like you disconnect yourself from your thoughts. That's the proof that you are not your thoughts, because you can look at your thoughts and you say, wow, I'm thinking those things. And one of the worst things that a person can do to himself is to rematch, to think that he is his thoughts, because all those crazy thoughts that you have, they are not yours. You have to disengage from them. So this is one thing, but itbonenut, contemplation, Jewish contemplation is something else. It's using my thought. It's not looking at my thoughts from a different perspective. is using my thoughts as a garment to my inner self, because instead of letting my thoughts running all the way, so I'm now using my thoughts to contemplate, to use them, to direct them to one direction, and then they serve me. It's like I use this tool in order to serve me, and when I use this tool, it's like I have another tool in order to reveal my inner self. You cannot reveal your inner self if you don't have something to contemplate on. And one of the greatest philosophers of the last generation, Popper, said, he used to call his students and tell them, look, what do you see? What do you want us to see? It's like when you don't have when you don't direct us to something, I see nothing. I don't know what to direct my contemplation at. So only then he said to them, you see, you can relate yourself only when you have something to relate to. Only when you decided where to focus yourself. You can read a book and you get nothing from the book. But if you came to the book with a question, you will find your answer in this book, if it's the right book. So let's summarize what we said. Freedom, we are not talking about freedom. Freedom, in the freedom, you take a vacation. And vacation mostly won't do the job. It's not enough. Because when you find the liberty point in yourself, let's call him it's only an insight of liberty in your life. You need nothing. You don't need vacation. The opposite. You don't need a vacation. You need to do more. You want to create more. The Lubavitcher Rebbe never took a vacation, and they asked him why. Take a vacation. Enjoy your life a little bit. And he said, the reason was, if I'll take a vacation, I have so many things to do and I won't complete them. But this wasn't the right vacation. The right reason. The right reason was, I think, from my perspective, it's that when you revealing your inner liberty, you don't need a vacation, because you're doing exactly what you want and what you are connected to. And whatever you're doing, it's like, oh, I have to do that. When you have to do that, so take a vacation in order to refresh yourself. No, you don't need a vacation, because I don't have to do that. I want to do that. I'm connecting my inner self to every moment in this reality. And like the Jews were slaves, the Israelites were slaves, and the process of getting out of Egypt was the process of somebody send them, the Creator send them like a rope and tell them, okay, you can see yourself differently. You can understand yourself differently. It's not only about your new Tesla. You need a new Tesla, okay, but it's not about the new Tesla. It's about revealing the inner self, the inner liberty, the place where you have no barriers at all. Where you have no barriers, when you are not dealing with yourself. The greatest barriers that we have is the feeling of me. What about me? I want to accept. My ego is the huge barrier that we have from really influencing, because then I switch everything and everything is about myself.
So this is really the Egypt that we need to get out of. It's that sense of me, of me, that what I'm getting, all this calculation that people are constantly doing about profit and loss, whether it is financially, emotionally, timely, so this is the Egypt, what you say, from like a Kabbalistic, Hasidic, spiritual perspective, that we need to come out of, that we are going to come out of, and we are coming out of during this Passover.
I lost your last sentence because of the... Sorry.
Okay, so I'm saying that when we are, celebrating right now, we're celebrating Passover, and next week on Wednesday, we're going to be sitting at the Seder, and we're going to, read the Haggadah and literally, talk about coming out of Egypt. So I'm sure there's going to be many, many people, Jews or not Jews, that's going to be sitting at that Seder, and thinking, what am I doing? I'm just having another meal here until they bring the food. It takes so long. What's going on? And the food looks weird. But anyways, what am I getting out of here from spiritual point of view, because this is the bottom line, what we want to do here. We want to give people the tools to become better influencers, and influence the world in a beautiful way, because this is why we are here. I mean, this is why we sent here. So beautiful analogy, beautiful way to describe the Egypt as pretty much that sense of like me, that it's pretty much the barrier that once we are able to put that on the side, we can reach the epiphany and the real freedom, so to say, because we're not really seeking freedom like in an American term. You know what I'm saying? Like, because in America, they love that word. They talk about freedom all the time.
I met, before we'll get into the point, I met a friend of mine who is a very successful businessman. And he said, I told him, why do you work so hard? And why do you do so many things? And he said, tell you the truth, I really want to retire at the age of 50 or something like that. He said 55. And ask him, why? Why do you want to retire at the age of 50? It's like, you're doing so many things. So why do you want to hurry up and retire? It's like a contradiction. If you're doing a thing and you enjoy them, why do you want to retire? And he said, because I hate what I'm doing. So I want to do enough money in order to stop doing what I have to do. And it's like, and I thought to myself, it's like, it's such a misery that whatever you're doing is in order not to do it anymore. Instead of, of trying to find.
And most people are like that, I mean, I could say about myself, I spent years, just chasing things for the wrong reasons, And I think that, intention is everything. When you have the intention, you're saying, why am I doing this? Why, I want to become a better human being or a better influencer on the world. And you understand that it's really not about yourself. And as long as it is about yourself, you're not really there. You got a long way to really get out of that place to start influencing it, because influencing it's never really about us. It's about
what I bring to the world, why I was born from the beginning. So let's get into the Leil Seder, the night of, how do you call it in English? Right. The night of, there is a
order, the night of order, because Seder, it means order. So there is some kind of order going on in that night. With a certain order.
There are few interpretations to what is the Leil Seder, the night of Passover. One of it is that don't think, the Holy Ari said, you look at the world and you think that the bad people, bad things are controlling the world. You think there is no justice in the world. Why do you think there is no justice? Because things are happening to you. And you say, why it happened to me? And what kills people is that they think that there is no justice. Because you think there is no justice, you have to manipulate. You have to, to take things that does not belong to you. A bit. When there is justice in the world, there is order in the world, that you will accept exactly what belongs to you. So the first idea of Exodus, of Passover, is that there is order in the world. And the second one, which is even more connected to our theme today, is that there is order in getting out of Egypt. There is order in accepting this consciousness that you have a point of liberty in yourself, that you have to let it illuminate your whole life. And it's not like you have to stop doing things that you don't want to do. Always we need to do things that we don't really want to do. But when you illuminate on those things with this liberty thing that you have, this liberty soul movement, you do it differently. You say to yourself, okay, I want to do that. I want to be a parent, even though I have 5 children that killing me and I'm running all day after them. I want it. I choose it. This is my liberty. Liberty is being connected in this moment with my children. So there is an order in this evening, and the order, there are 15 steps. Kadesh, Uchatz, Karpatz, Yachatz. There are 15 steps of this order, very unique, but we won't go through all those 15 steps. So let's summarize those steps in discovering the process of discovering your inner self, your inner liberty through the three names of the holiday. There are three names to the holiday. The first one is the first one that you would find in the Bible is the Feast of Unleavened Bread.
Okay.
The Feast of Unleavened Bread. Well, I'm pronouncing it right? Unleavened bread. And the second one
bread,
is the
matzah, if the cracker, matzah cracker thing.
It's like in this unleavened bread there is a contradiction. From one perspective, you can see it's a food for poor people. When you want to eat something, you do not eat unleavened bread. What do you eat? You eat, a good bread that feels like a bread, not like something crack and very hard to eat and very hard to put in it something to eat with it. The second name is the Festival of Liberation, Chag HaCherut, that our sages used. And the last one is the festival, this is the name that we usually use in Hebrew, is the Festival of Passover. And the word Passover, I wouldn't translate it like Passover, because Passover it's like a jump, a switch, but it's the real translation that we mean is the festival of jumping, of creating more, of breaking boundaries. Pesach, it's like lifsoach, it's like to
jumping to your next level.
Stages. Yeah, to next level. That's the real translation. So you have here like an order. In order to break boundaries, in order to find your liberty, you're in a liberty, you have to go through all those 3 steps. You have those 3 steps in the 15 signs of the Seder, but we'll go only for those 3 names. So what is the holiday, the festival of unleavened bread? Unleavened bread, what are we talking about? Unleavened bread, it's a bread that from one perspective, it's a bread for poor people. From another perspective, it's what will bring you to liberty. What does it mean? When you all know, when you're full of yourself, think about the interaction between a father and your children. When you know everything, you think you are a good father, but your daughter won't accept you, won't speak with you. Why? Because she will feel that she cannot speak with a person that knows everything, that have a solution to everything. I don't want to cooperate with you because you know everything. When I need something, maybe I'll call you, but you won't be the right father for her. Right. And you won't develop yourself and you won't understand her. And think about an interaction in relationship. When, okay, I know what you need. No, be quiet for a moment. To be quiet, it's like to take one step backward and to develop this inner awe and to listen. And to be able to say to myself, I don't know anything. I don't know anything. I don't know how to do things. I really want to accept another knowledge, another understanding, another point of wisdom. And this is the idea of the unleavened bread. When you eat it, the Holy Harari said, you eat the bread, it's like you fill yourself with health. It's the bread of health and the bread of faith. Why is it the bread of health? Because the best health, the best way to get health in your life is stop thinking about yourself. The more, most of the researchers will show that the more you think about what happened to me, why it happened to me, how would I get out of it, you will put yourself in a place of a terrible anxiety. When somebody thinks about something that may happen to him, he will get into anxiety. And being an unleavened bread, it's like, feel yourself, okay, I'll let myself be. And in order to let yourself be, you need to develop a huge faith and a huge confidence in life and trust and trust in godliness. So that's why when you eat it, it's like the process of, I believe that I should accept myself as not Yehiel Harari. What do you think about me? I am like this. I'm a writer. I did this. So this is the first step. And in order to do that, you have to, somebody asked me, how can I stop thinking about myself? And it's a huge question. And it's like, there are so many tools that we will leave to another episode. But one of the things, it's like being really conscious about it. You speak with someone, try to see how many times you say I. how many times you think about, you are trying to talk about yourself, how much you are ready to listen really to him, how much it's important to you that he will appreciate you, or you really listen to him. You want to say the right words in order that he will accept what you have to say, or you want to say the right words in order that he will take out of it the strong thing that you can influence to him. So this is the first level. The first, it's like, now I have to go through a process of unleavened bread. Then I have, we said the festival of liberation. Liberation is the knowing that I have something to bring to the world. Without this belief in myself, without the understanding that I'm carrying a message to the world, and this is my specific message. Doesn't matter if you will, if you will manifest your message on social networks or at home or with your child, but you have a message to the world. And this message, it's like you have to convince yourself. When somebody is, let's go to the extreme, committing suicide, he says to himself that I don't know if I have a message. I don't know if somebody will listen to my message. I am alone in the world. People do not want to listen to my message. So you have to really believe that you have your message.
Yeah, they feel so alone because they're so into themselves.
And it's not only that. You can be a very famous person and still want to commit suicide because you think you do not deliver your message enough. It's not about, it's very relative. It's relative in a way that you try to, you don't know, believe, accept that your message is being accepted. So the second thing is to develop your influencing. You're not calling your podcast influencing mindset without a reason. It's one of the most important and dominant ideas in Judaism. That's why we have to recite the idea of Exodus, of getting out of Egypt every day, because it's so important. Like, it's not enough not to be. You have to be not to be full of yourself in order to be a carrier, to be a wagon to something else. And this is the second step.
Right.
And when you went through this, working on yourself in this order, and as I said, all the 15 signs of the Seder, of Leil Seder, are walking through those ideas. And the last one is when you are, how do you know you went through this process? When you are ready to jump, to do things that you never thought you would do, not to be lazy, not to always, just think about yourself and your interest and what you get out of things. And when you are in this process, only then you say to yourself, okay, I'm starting to get out of Egypt, out of my inner barriers, and I'm starting to, it's like I say to myself, I don't want to be anymore this husband that is always walking like, in a full face and criticizing everything. I don't want to be this brother, this father, this husband, doesn't matter. I want to be a better person. Now, after getting out of Egypt, you have to find your Torah, your high thing, elevated thing, the thing that will, that you will pick your eyes up and you said, okay, I want to go in this order. There is something better that I want to be every day. It's not enough just to get out of my barriers. You get out of your barriers in order to achieve something, whether you really want to achieve. So this is another thing that we have to talk about it. But
yeah, we'll talk about goals. We'll do once a podcast about goals. I think it's worth a whole podcast. But yeah, please continue the idea here with the.
So we'll close the idea with that every day, and you have to go through a process of thinking to yourself, what is my inner liberty? What is the place where I allow myself to break my boundaries? And breaking boundaries, people think it's like to make more money. No, this is the easiest thing to do. It's not a barrier. You can see, I think Tony Robinson wrote a book about 50 billionaires that he met. And he said, only 3 or 4 out of them were really happy. And it's not about happiness. It's not also happiness. It's about being concentrated. Tzimtzum, like to be where you are. The solution to happiness, the solution to joyness, is the ability to be where you are and to receive and to influence. To receive, in order to receive, you have to be quiet. and then to take what you received and then to influence it in another place. It's like happiness connected to the idea that you have, that you have this liberty. Liberty, what is liberty? If I need now a cigarette, I have no liberty. I'm capped to the cigarette. If I need really now,
Right.
the best love interaction that we have, you need nothing, not a hotel, you just need to be with your spouse, just need to relate to it, to speak with it. I don't need nothing. I don't need coffee. If you need coffee, that means this moment, in Day of Kippurim, the Autonomy Day, that's right.
The Yom Kippur. I think people know what Yom Kippur is.
It's we don't eat.
It's a fast day, 26 hours, 25 hours of fast.
Why? Because it's when you're really into something, when you meet something yourself and your divine and your creator, really, you don't need to eat. You don't need the festival of eating. But then when you become, it's not the idea of not eating. It's not the idea of, it's not enough to reveal only my infinite liberty place in myself. It's like to take it down earth, because when you want to interact, if I'll come to your place, if I'll visit you, and you say, okay, let's interact, let's be together without eating, I will kill you. I want to, come on, Uzi, bring something to the table. Let's eat something. What are you talking about? How cheap you are. We won't eat. So you bring out this idea of liberty to the mundane life. That's the idea.
Right.
Like, you bring it to the mundane life. You say, okay, I need to eat and I need to do a lot of things. But through it, I have something that it's not about me. It's about revealing something else in this world. And this process, it's like, revealing the infinite in the finite world. It's like, it's the part of the Exodus. And to do it every day, it's like to feel every day I have something to give to the world. And it's not about how many likes I got. And every day I can smile, even though that, look outside. It's the base spirit to the humankind. Never in the humankind we had such abundance and
we live in a really fascinating time. Every day I'm mind blown, because I remember the years goes by, every 5 years it's like it's a whole different world. Like now with AI, since November of last year when it was released, ChatGPT, and then the whole world literally shifted, and we are going in through a shift really in everything. Everything is changing again because of AI, because that now there is machines that are smarter than humans, and they could do so much more faster, and they don't need lunch, and they don't need the lunch break or cigarette break. They can just do it.
But still, that's the point. We are progressing, but still the inner battles that we have are feeling like worst. More people are in anxiety than ever before. More people suffer from depression, despair, etc. Stress. So it means, think about revolution. I don't know if inventing electricity, it's less than AI. I don't know. Or inventing,
I think it's around the same scale. It's a revolutionary. It's going to change society forever, and it's already doing that in a way. It was just released a few months ago, and the machine learning pace, it's accelerating in ways that people never imagined. The capability of that thing to learn and to reuse that information is just an amazing thing, and it's something people need to understand. I was talking about it the last class that I did, that we really need to up our games, because there's going to be so many jobs out there that will not be anymore necessary.
That's what I said. The whole idea of the more you'll have, development that we see now, the more you'll have to work on your inner self. Like the whole idea of progressing.
I think that now it's really important to do that, because now this is going to be how people will be valued. It's going to be only your inner self. You're going to have to actually win through your uniqueness. You're going to have to find your exact mission and really execute on it, because that's going to be really your currency. That's going to be your currency soon. Especially, even what we're doing now, creating content. In in maybe 100 years, my grandson will get, a penny or two out of this. I don't know, royalties. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? But, you know, it's about creating value and keeping creating this value and bringing that value into the world, because we have so much value to give. And also the purpose of this podcast is to encourage people to bring that value into the world, you know, and not to be afraid to be an influencer, because
Exactly.
you know, we are here
Wonderful.
to influence. You know, during the Passover, we eat the unleavened bread, which means it's like a dough that did not rise. And from that dough that did not rise, you make the matzah. So when the dough rise, it symbolizes the sense of self. It symbolizes, oh, now I'm important. Now I'm in the middle. The dough rised means the ego rise. And this is why we are not eating bread that was risen.
But it's only for 7 days. After that, you know,
after that we eat whatever we want.
Consciousness of just to have, you know, understanding that you have this ability to manifest this this inner emotional treatment, or, you know, to get out of your ego. You can do that, but then you need to harness your ego in order to achieve more things. I think we touched the point.
It's beautiful. Thank
wonderful.
you so much, Dr. Harari, for your time and for your insights. Wish you the best Passover, Chag Sameach, and Chag Sameach v'Kasher. Love you very much, Achi.
Thank you very much, my love. All the best.
Thanks.